Hello, everybody. This is Big Jonas coming to you live on an impromptu Saturday night. Checking out our audio here. Impromptu Saturday night. That sounds pretty good. Special show tonight. I do got my good buddy here, Big Cheds. Big Cheds, say hello to the people.
Hello to the people. How's everyone doing?
They have said they are okay, but a little bored because they haven't been outside for quite some time.
Yeah, I know the feeling. It's been tough. It's definitely been tough. Everyone's stuck inside. I think that's one thing we're kind of sharing. At least we're sharing that together. That's something you can at least relate to someone and say, hey, I've had to stay inside. How have you been handling it? Right?
There's almost a communal part about how much this sucks, but we all kind of agree communally as a society that the past couple months have been kind of crappy.
Yep.
And as we all can do, we're trying to make the most of it, the best of it. But it is Saturday night, and Big Cheds and I have been enjoying a nice day in the yard.
Yep.
And
enjoying that food you grilled up.
Some steaks and some salmon
and some pork.
Some pork belly, grilled pork belly. It was delicious.
That was really good.
Corn on the cob, which is finally
onions.
Tasting sweet, and some grilled onions.
Yep, that was really good.
A little cake, and now we're enjoying some cocktails. And we're coming to you guys as a live action. I do have the hourly chart up here.
Hourly chart, okay.
We'll get to the intros in a little bit here, but let's just get right into it, Chad, because we got some exciting price action here.
I mean,
right,
it's just like super exciting,
But for a Saturday night, this is unfortunately for my life. This is some hot stuff.
I mean,
Chad.
It is what it is. Life's good. Life is good. It's a gift. It's a blessing.
All right, so for the past 5 days, we've been maintaining our pretty decent bounce here from the low 8Ks.
Are you going 1 hour? What are we looking at? You said 1 hour?
I'm on the hourly. I'm looking at over the past several days.
I see your triangle. Is that what you're showing me?
I want to just talk about our bounce here that we did have at the low 8Ks. We had, it's funny, the initial breakdown wick here on this hourly candle so far has proven to be the local bottom, where it did get as low as like 8,100-ish. And then that was on May 10th. A day later, we came back and almost tested the same level, but held it, put in the slightly higher low. And Bitcoin was able to move quite nicely off that low 8Ks and get almost to 10K. That was almost a $2,000 move from that back test of that $8,000 region.
Well, let's talk about that bottom construction. I think there was some talk about a diamond bottom.
Yeah, I actually recall the tweet that I had put out on it, but just to keep it kind of simple here, whenever we get that diamond bottom, we always tend to get that whipsaw candle in the middle.
The high and the low, right?
Where it's like, we're going up and then we're going down. And we basically had that. And then all the characteristics of that diamond bottoming formation.
With the head and shoulders at the left. You kind of had a head and shoulders. With the breakout, the rejection, MA200. Do you have the 200 up? Throw up the 200 for me. Your 200 period simple moving average on the 1 hour. You'll see what I mean. Yeah, just pull up the 200.
So we got the 200 here.
Now look where the height of this initial move was on the 12th or whenever that was.
It was so that was the major rejection.
And then look at sort of support back in the May 15th at 2 o'clock.
So here was the rejection.
Yep.
And then here was the first test, which got rejected. But we kind of hung around there for a while.
You broke through and you held in the first back test.
Yeah.
And then you kind of just dipped through. You kind of held it. You sort of didn't held it, right? And you developed what looked like potentially a descending triangle from which we're breaking out of bullishly right now.
All right. So listen, MA200, 1 hour, sure.
Yeah.
Back tests, it definitely touched it to the penny on the initial rejection.
Right. So that's pretty good.
Holding support. So let's be bullish. While Bitcoin does maintain this specific moving average. Yeah. I want to go to a higher time frame, Chad. So daily. We did close out our day about an hour ago.
Okay.
Let's talk about it.
Yep.
Now, the previous day, we had a very bearish rejection, right? We got this 3 up here. Yeah. We had a very bearish rejection, 9,800 down to, so the $1,000 move here, right? Yesterday's candle, which is this little guy here, slight upper wick,
spinning top.
but we did close within the candle body of the previous day's candle.
And we held exponential moving average support.
Well, I want to pull up some exponentials. Oh, let's pull up some MAs. So this
You like
MA.
12, right? You want to go give me a 12?
I will, but let's say we're way above our moving averages.
That's what I'm saying. So here's my point. Let me jump in. And thank you for having me, Big Jonas, and I am at Big Cheds. When you have a candle signal like that, you have to put it into context. So it's a bearish signal, but it actually has less volume than the green candle before it. So that's a little bit, takes away a little bit of the bearish force. And you have it still trading above primary uptrend support, EMA 8, MA 20, middle Bollinger Band. So it's just a pullback candle rather than a reversal candle within an uptrend. So that's the context of that. You always have to put a context in a candle.
So we're acknowledging that price action is still very nicely above our daily MAs. I also want to note, Cheds, in a couple days here, we're getting a golden cross with
yes,
our
but let's
50.
talk about it. What do we want to mention? What's the most important thing to take into context when you have a moving average cross, Big Jonas?
The separation of them, the time differential, or where the price is in relation to the cross.
Because think about it. If you have a moving average cross and you're like $2,000 ahead or $1,500, like you've already kind of the cake's baked. You've already eaten half the cake. Like it's already baked in. So you want to actually have the price crossing with the cross. None of the move is baked in. That's your ideal situation. So there's a gradation, right? Every signal has a strength of signal. I mean, you're trying to rate the strength of signal in a golden cross, death cross, 5,200, even lower time frames. I use 834 EMA. Big Jonas, you use 1226. You want to see the price proximity. You want to see it very close so the move is not baked in.
So this cluster in this area, let's call it the low 8Ks.
Let's call it the nebula cluster.
That's going to be a very interesting area because we're going to have a confluence of all three moving averages literally dead on top of each other in the coming days. And it'll be very notable if the Bitcoin can continue to maintain that area of support. Cheds, let's keep it moving here. I do want to bring up my lower time frame.
Before you do that, if I might comment on the daily chart. We're talking candles. When you put out that red candle, let's go back. Let's look at that big red candle in the 10th. You talked about that lower wick. We have a double EMA 34 support hold, and we're still trading above the MA 200. So we have a support bounce off the EMA 34. You form that high wave spinning top on May 11th. What is that? That high wave spinning top on May 11th. That's taking the red force and turning it into a yellow light. On the way to a green light. It's an inside bar.
Even though it's red, it's not necessarily as bearish as it may be.
Right. It tells you that bears are rethinking their advance. It doesn't mean they're giving up their advance. And you have two lower shadows. You have good bottom volume, and you follow up with the inside bar, which is completely within the candle range, upper and lower shadow of the prior candle. Then you have the inside up, and then you have the three green candles, and you have a pull back to moving average support. However, you also have the lower high. So you have the lower high on the daily.
Lower high, because we're talking about a lot of bullish things over the past several days here. Sure, we have a nice lower candles back to back with the spinning top here on the bottom. We have three very nice bullish candles up. We have very strong bearish cloud cover pullback. And then yesterday's candle kind of closed, not too shabby. Again, we are in the weekend price action here. But what you did note is that we definitely still have established now a lower high on this bullish advance. So far, the little break of 10K is still our local high. Once again, 10K, I can almost argue, is now a very arbitrary. I think it was psychological.
No, it's 10.5. 10.5 go to weekly. 10.5 is the level. 10K is like okay, but it's 10.5.
Well, whatever. That was like 5 months ago.
Is it? No. It's not that 5 months ago. It was back in February and in October.
10.5.
Yeah, 10.5 is the level. If you when you have the inverted
March,
triangle
April,
in the weekly chart with
the 4 months
descending hypotenuse. So
but let's get over 10.1 first because we got a very strong rejection.
That's just a strong rejection or a rejection.
Let's stick to this month. How about that?
Okay.
So there's the lower high. Okay.
Right. Where's the higher low? We don't know.
Well, that's the thing. We have a steepening higher low.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much I really trust.
It's not
this
developing
line
yet.
It's not developed yet, right?
Yeah.
But
Pull back.
If we use our angle that we already established with our current lower high, we can extrapolate this pennant formation or symmetrical triangle formation that again leads us to an apex approach in the coming days.
Yeah, it's apex approach. Apex is at the end of a kind of a tightening. You talk about a coiling where you have a lower high, a higher low. You have the kind of a narrowing range is what you're talking about. And then usually the volume dries up. And you get to the end of that narrowing range and you're looking for the volume on the breakout. You're looking for confirmation.
Cheds, the Bollinger Bands have been tightening. Okay,
Yeah.
we've been riding middle BB support.
Yeah.
Also, which was notable, remember that is the MA20
That's
and
bullish.
the daily.
That's bullish.
As long as we are maintaining middle Bollinger support, I have to target our upper BB.
Yeah.
Currently, again, at $10,000.
Yeah.
Now, Cheds,
Yeah.
I've heard you mention the term like a topping pattern, maybe the M top.
Yeah, M top, yeah,
are
double
we
top.
potentially forming something like that?
Where's your second top? Here's one thing you want to keep in mind. When you're looking at, like I talked about earlier, like a gradation or a strength of signal, with a double top, the longer the time interval between the tops, the stronger the signal. So you could all very easily argue this is one top, not two tops. You really have just a week in between.
Oh, the whole thing is
yes,
just one
it's
top.
part of one move. It's a top. It's a top. It's not really a double top. You could say, hey, it's a double top technically, yes. But do you want to have a strong signal double top? So that's your kind of judgment. That's where these things come into play. You want to have a kind of defined move, also from the peaks to the pullback. There's a congestion point in the middle. Any kind of M top, you have a pullback, usually to a prior consolidation level. You do have that here. So you do have that. You see how the price pulled back. What was that? The 10th and the 11th, Big Jonas, and that corresponds with the prior horizontal support. That's when we had that consolidation. So you have some of that structure, but you really want a larger time interval. That's why in the weekly chart, 10-5, as I see you illustrating right now, that's a clear horizontal boundary. So if we don't get a lot of clear signals, do we, Big Jonas? We get a lot of muddled signals. I think we can agree a break of this with volume would be a clear signal.
Well, I think it's break, and then as we like to say, what's the back test look like? But so far, okay, the lower high is still the dominant factor in this. We have a double resistance.
Why
here.
is it? Why? How about the higher low? It depends on where you just happen to start your chart.
Because the higher low still is less relevant because it was a lower low that set it up.
Are you on the daily? What are you on?
Yeah, on the daily.
You're on the weekly.
On the daily.
Okay.
Just out.
Carson?
Never bring his name like I'm in. So, okay.
Okay, but look. Here's the point I wanted to make, Big Jonas. Look at like March 15th through 20th. You see that? You know how we kind of bottom there? That corresponds with our April 19 range. Just look at April 19 and look how important that was. And look at the fact that held on the pullback. And that kind of cemented your macro higher low.
This area here, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. So see how we kind of caught a bid there. You ever hear that phrase, caught a bid? Bitcoin caught a bid. And it caught a bid at a kind of a logical level.
It went straight through that on the wick though.
Whatever. No. But yeah, I mean, look where the most of the action was. Look where the most of like the consolidation was. That happened in like an hour.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That was $1,000 hour though.
Yes, it was.
And it was also 25.
But that doesn't take away from the point. That doesn't take away from the point. That just actually strengthens the point. That gives you a lower shadow. That increases the idea that bulls defended their territory. The longer the lower shadow, the better. Like the longer the lower shadow, the better.
Well, let's just quickly reminisce about April of 2019.
Yeah.
We do remember this incredibly bullish candle. Bitcoin went from 4K to 5K in literally a blink of an eye.
Yeah, look at that.
We have filled that liquidity gap on the March of 2020 dump, okay?
Yeah, but it's quick.
Doesn't matter. It fills the gap that was caused by
I'm saying how many
this.
people, it wasn't, like, my point is it wasn't actively participated by the market. It moved, most people, for most people, it moved too fast, is the point I want to make.
Well, let's piggyback on that because we talk about this low here, about this major dip down to just the break of 4K and then it pumped.
Yep.
But we all know the story behind it. It was literally somebody at BitMEX just like pulled the plug out of the wall, the modem, and turned off the dumpage, and then Bitcoin was able to rise again from that.
Right.
Because of that event, okay?
Black Swan.
Black Swan, but it was Black Swan with a clear...
And it was on Black Friday.
Vulnerability. It was on the day after Thanksgiving.
Red Tuesday.
There was a clear vulnerability, okay, in Bitcoin as a not physical network, more like a trading network. you're right. Not many people even notice this. I bet
That's
you
my
even
point.
slept
That's my
through
point.
this.
So it's not that. It's not kind of not that.
Therefore,
That's yeah.
Therefore,
Yeah.
the retest of the 4K area in this version still tells me that we can revisit it again.
Oh, of course. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, that's the dirty secret. I mean, yes, that's like the dirty secret any bull will tell you, like when you kind of catch them, you know, when the microphone's not on. It's like, yeah, they're like, yeah, whatever, but I'd just buy 300 Bitcoin. You know, they'll tell you whatever. But you still have higher lows. You have that nice, you have the point I was making in March with that dump. You pulled back to a logical level, like, you know, from those April 19 highs. And that looks good from a chart. So you also have a higher low. I know you're pointing out the lower high kind of in this, within this like 2 months standpoint, and we're trading, we're looking for that. You know, but how about the MA200? We're holding the MA200 in the daily. That's significant.
Let's do a few more daily stuff, and then let's go to the weekly.
You got it.
Just real quick here, I just want to run through a few things. Daily Ichimoku was very bullish. We have a bullish cloud here. We have Tenkan-sen support continues to hold. Remember, I have modified settings on my cloud, 20, 60, 120, 30. I do want to do a quick TI sequential, makes tone. And we are on a green 4 above a green 3, but it's not the most ideal setup here on the daily. Trim position still is at 10.5. I wanted to look at, oh yeah, I didn't even bring up my EMA 12 and 26 charts. Just talk right over me. All right, so this is very important to me. If you ask me, like, how do I judge a chart? How do I judge a Bitcoin chart? The very first thing I'll do is I'll say, bring me up the daily chart. Where's my EMA 12 and 26, and where are we in the price action? So a couple things here. Our first test of our EMA 26 held. Closing candle support. It's very nice. We're currently holding EMA 12. EMA 26. EMA 12 support is being currently held. It's a very good thing. Until we lose closing daily support, which currently is at $8,700 on both, this is a very bullish setup. We had our bull cross here. This was our confirmation.
And look at the proximity. It was right at it, and you had good gains.
Very good gains. Very nice area. This is a great signal here.
Yes.
Okay. Great consolidation. There's the fan out, and you see how Bitcoin just used that EMA 12 support all the way up. Okay. And as you rode up there, you have to keep in mind how far up is the price action from our EMA. Just as on the bearish side here, we can get way too low.
But don't you want to look at that with Bollinger Bands? Like, I find it weird to look at like an EMA cross without also the context of where the Bollinger Bands are too. I mean, that's why it's interesting. Well, it's total personal preference.
But then you're bringing in other
but you Bollinger Bands are like, are you wearing pants, a shirt, and sock? You like things you have to have.
Should we go back to that because we already did the Bollinger Bands?
No, Bollinger Bands with the EMA cross. For me, I'm saying it's interesting to me that people, because everyone looks at it differently. So I appreciate that. Because you're talking about where you are in relation to the EMA. So the kind
again, I'm using this specific indicator specifically for this pattern here. The Bollinger Bands, again, give me a different perspective on relationship to the upper, lower, as well as the pinching distance. Let's look at a few oscillators here. Again, I'm still on the daily chart here. Big Chonas here with Big Cheds. This is Big Chonas. Please follow me on Twitter. Guys, hit that thumbs up button if we're even still broadcasting. And you guys can follow my buddy here. He is at Big Cheds. New profile pic.
Yep.
I did take that myself. And finally got him to expose himself as much as I can. And that's quite an accomplishment. Follow him at Big Cheds. All right, so real quick here. CMF, Chalkin money flow, release the Chalkin. So there's our zero line. We're still above it, bullish, okay? But if we look at this in a larger context, all right? Actually, I would have to go to a higher time frame. But overall, larger context here. We are still on the lower end of our bullish CMF oscillators here. We do like to see stuff well above maybe the 0.3 to 0.4 area, and we're all the way down here at like 0.1, okay? So even though we are still above our zero line here in our Chalkin, the money flow is weak. The money flow is weak. Our unbalanced volume is, oh, there it is. Where are you there? OBV continues to be a very nice indicator. The pullback, though, of 10K was quite notable. I almost feel like a significant amount of Bitcoin was taken off the table with this very strong drop in our OBV, which has been a very bullish indicator there. We are still consolidating and we are still holding a slightly higher low from our initial area of bounce here. So this will continue to be an area of interest to watch to see if we can maintain the near-term higher low, but let's not ignore the fact that this was quite a steep sell-off here at the 10K area. Daily RSI still remains a very bullish 58. Again, in my book, anything above 50 is very nice here. But we are drifting lower after our break here of 80. I have as well changed my RSI settings to mark the extremes at 80-20 versus the default of 70-30. Gives me a little more conservatism and tells me, wow, when we're breaking above 80 on the daily, we are really high on the RSI there. And only on tremendous peaks do we get above that 84 as our tops there. So this is very key here.
Can we talk about that real quick before you jump on? I mean, so that is notable. The fact that I think people were pointing out, I pointed out, you pointed it out. If you go back to like April 30th-ish, to May 7th, 8th, RSI's in power zone. And I think I put out a tweet, RSI in power zone for the first time since whenever, right? Whenever the date was. We've had the benefit of a nice RSI reset without losing too much from the price here. Like the RSI, sure. Right? RSI dropped back to 55 and the price went from like 10K to 9K.
Well, this was 10K to 8K. So this was a $2,000.
But it's 9K now or 95.
So here's the rise.
Yeah.
But the RSI is not necessarily showing that rise. So you're saying there's running room.
Yes. Now we can go back into the power zone and instead be at like 11K instead of, you know what I mean? So you get the same situation with a higher price. And that's what a nice RSI reset does. And that's why I don't usually use it for regular bearish divergence. I don't use the lower highs normally on RSI in an uptrend because I want the price to reset a little bit to breathe. Almost like a nice wine that you decant.
So now we have our range for RSI. Basically 67 was the previous rejection. 51 was the previous support. This is our range. Whichever one of these breaks, okay, is going to determine which direction Bitcoin can achieve.
Maybe.
Because there's our equilibrium that's forming now.
In the RSI, but I don't think the RSI is going to lead the price, though. Is that what you're saying, like the RSI is leading the price?
I'm saying if the RSI gets back up to 67 and the price is showing that strength there. It probably has the breakout power that you're suggesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is this, stock RSI?
Daily Stoke, bear cross, still pointing lower here. But obviously, well off the lows.
That's the new candle, though. Isn't that the new candle?
That is the new candle.
So we can't count the cross. You can't when you're looking at this oscillator. You can't.
The cross was the close of yesterday's candle.
No, it's already pricing in as if we closed today. If you back it out, it's probably not going to show a cross. It's pricing in as
we're higher than we are today.
What's that?
Why would it not show?
I don't know. But but it prices in a cross. When you have like these, that's why you got to be careful.
But the price is higher than when it closed.
But the fast line's the blue line, right?
Yeah.
So that's pricing. Are we up or down on the?
We're up.
So I don't know why it's showing. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm totally
yesterday.
wrong.
So this is a bearish cross, but we're still kind of hovering in no man's land here. Not much to really read from that.
I'm pretty sure. Okay.
So our MACD. Now this has been something interesting to me. We've been in a bear cross from this, and we got that rejection on our reattempt right here, okay? And we are putting in now 7 days of a bearish histogram. Chet, what say you?
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like the hint of something, right? It's almost like someone's threatening to punch you, but they don't really punch you yet. Didn't you mention something about an ABC earlier?
Nope. So until this does cross bullishly, the bearish rejection is the more dominant force there. And remember, we went very long here. Yeah. March 21st to May 11th of a bullish histogram here. There's plenty of running room to go bearish here.
Yeah, but it's not like, is it probabilistic? Like, is it, you know what I mean?
Well, it's not changing its dimensions. Chad, it's the weekly close tomorrow.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at it.
Oh, nice.
So far from a candle formation, hard to argue it's a bad looking candle. Okay, bullish engulfing. Okay, the volume's nice, it's strong.
Yeah.
We got one more day to fill this out here.
It's a great weekly candle.
Nice lower wick here. Our lower wick is almost $1,000 currently from the lows of the week to our current price action here. So Bitcoin does have a chance to close out this week strong, even if this is not going to be the breakout week.
Well, there's a couple things here. So yes, it's a nice follow-up candle to the first red. You had 7 green and 1 red, so it's a nice follow-up candle to that. But it is also an inside bar, which means it failed to break the high of the prior week. So you see several things. You see a nice pullback to moving average support and a bounce off of that, but you have an upper shadow as well. So it is also an indecision candle. So a bear might make the argument that you now have 2 indecision candles in a row. Where even though you did rally, you're an inside bar within the range with a lower high, less volume. So that's kind of the bear argument. The bull argument is like, yeah, it's pretty good. Look, a higher high close, bounced right off of support. So there's a good argument both ways. I think it's still bullish, but you have to be cautious.
Today's price action will be very interesting to see how this candle does actually.
Yeah, that's true. We still have a day left.
The tighter we get closer to last week's open, the more interesting it will be.
I mean, we're probably not going to break the wick, right?
Sunday, and I think a lot of this too. Remember, we'll get S&P ES1 futures.
Yeah, but has it been correlated recently?
Oh yeah, at like a couple hours before the weekly candle closes.
So we might see some kind of volatility at that point.
We'll see how it does reflect that as well. Just real quick note here.
Yeah.
Middle Bollinger support is holding. Upper BB resistance is at $10,800. I did tweet this earlier today that we're so very wide here. We're still holding middle Bollinger support.
Yeah.
If this weekly candle does close the way it looks, I still can see a target of this higher high here breaking above 10.5, only to suck you all in and then dump on you.
But hold on. How come we haven't mentioned halvening yet? Because there was like, what's it going to do afterward? Now it's happened. It's all baked in. So that we've been talking about miners. Maybe they would drive a capitulation to kind of,
There's so many variables in Bitcoin.
Right.
Volatility obviously is there. If there were ever to be a year for Bitcoin to really establish itself, it really is going to be the next 6 months of price action in this current economic environment. If the stock market and our economy doesn't recover or continues to falter, the opportunity for Bitcoin to separate itself is there. However, the ability for a Bitcoin to separate itself will be that much harder based on the fact that people need money to pay for stuff.
Right.
And
right.
If people don't have money from their job or from their stocks, then the last bastion of assets they will sell to pay for money things. Now,
is what they're going to sell the Bitcoin? Most people don't have Bitcoin.
It could be argued.
Most people don't have Bitcoin. If you look at it,
Bitcoin is we say it's decentralized, and as a network, it is decentralized. But as an asset, it's an oligopoly. It's like 80% of the Bitcoin is held by like 4% of the wallets.
Right.
Okay. So when you have that much of disparity, that 1920s Rockefeller, Carnegie separation of the super uber wealthy, which in today's standards are the Waltons, Bezoses, the Gateses,
Matt Gateses,
the Chedses.
The Jonases
is a situation where maybe the wealthy Bitcoin can keep the price as propped as it is.
No, but let's talk about halvening. Like do the miners control it or do the whales control it? What is it? You're kind of what do you think? What are you saying?
Every day there's like 1,000 Bitcoin that comes brand new.
Right.
So every day, some miner didn't necessarily have to buy Bitcoin; they just mined it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Not for free. They didn't get it for free.
Okay. So you're right. They didn't get it for free. They had to burn electricity and hardware and whatever else. So there's a downward pressure on the market to sell. Okay. But if the miner is thinking maybe Bitcoin could be at 10K in a week, He's not going to sell, and that's the supply and demand move. The problem is...
Isn't that a trader? Are you talking about a trader or a miner? Aren't miners basically just facilitators and hodlers, and they're just trying to like...
Well, they're hodlers to a point where they can make a profit, okay? But now you got your big boys
that's a
here.
trader. Making a profit's a trader, right?
Yeah, we're talking
Oh,
about
I see. You're talking just to mine.
Well,
Yeah,
you
it's
brought up mining.
operating cost. Yeah, my fault.
So with operating costs, that's all it is. Miners aren't traders; they're business. It's about a business.
True. Oh, that's true. It's really
so it's weighing the fact that if we hold the coin we just mined,
do
we get a few grand more in a few months, or are we going to lose out because Bitcoin's going to dump? And that's the battle of variableness here. All right, just real quick here. Those Bollinger Bands weekly chart here again, guys. This is Big Chadness here at Big Chad Saturday night. We're drinking, had a nice meal. I thought we'd come live to our friends here. 63 of our closest watching us now. Let's get some likes up there. Really appreciate your support. Hopefully we'll do more of these as the weather.
Yeah, we got something cooking. Big Jonas and I got a little something cooking for you guys.
Some cooking. So real quick, guys, just real quick. EMA 1226. I love this. We talk about on daily
Show
here.
me.
Look at this daisy chain here. Are we about to do this? I want to remove the price action. This is just our EMA 1226 on the weekly. We are pinching like crazy. We still have yet to confirm our bull cross here. And this is what gets me a little skeptical. Do we hit our initial bull cross on the first attempt, or do we get that mad ass rejection?
Well, you had the cross last time, not a lot of volume behind it. So I guess you want volume confirmation.
Yep.
So you have more volume here, which is nice. You see some volume in the breakdown, right? You see
it's a better setup for a cross. However, it is still corrective from the trough we created from being so low in our price action.
Well, you got a nice cluster. Look, you got bottom volume. Yeah. We've got bottom volume there, like that.
But from a weekly standpoint, if we do cross bullishly and hold it, that is for me very bullish.
Yeah, because you've had a great resetting, a calming period. All this consolidation is great. You see this descending. Look, draw my horizontal boundary 10.5, and then draw my descending hypotenuse. Give me the inverted triangle. So right there, boom, and then draw my lower lows. Diagonal line. Other way, towards the left. Towards the left. Towards the higher peaks, go left, like you're going reverse.
Oh, you want up?
Yeah, go towards the other way. No.
What?
Here, the inverted triangle, right? The inverted triangle with the descending hypotenuse. You have kind of the series of, so you kind of have, you're looking for a signal, and so you've kind of a clearly defined resistance at 10.5, and what you have is kind of this lower, progressive series.
Lower lows.
Yeah. So and that's a descending, right? That's an inverted triangle with a descending hypotenuse. And so we're looking for a signal. And the problem here of trying to short on your your support break is not as good as looking for the bull break. You have a better chance to get like a clean signal in a bull break, because you might bear break, you're already down below here, at like 2K or whatever, 5K. It's one of those situations where it's a mixed signal kind of pattern, but it gives you the potential for a better signal on the bull side, because you have kind of a cleaner landing and.
So there's no such thing as triple tops.
Well, a triple top, the more times you try to break it, the better.
Right. So a triple top is very bullish here.
If you break it, it's bullish. It's clearly been rejected now several times, but that gives you an opportunity to set up a foundation for strong support. Principle of polarity. When you break it, you turn that resistance into support. So that's how that could be a nice construction, but you have to do a little heavy lifting first.
Moving averages, only the MA50 is near the price action.
200 on the
200
daily
is way lower, and so is the
weekly
100 here on the weekly.
Yeah.
We have MA50 support. Still is our lodestar area of support on the weekly. We broke it, we back tested it, we held it, we've advanced off of it. So MA50 weekly, $8,700 is the place to hold. And we are still maintaining a very nice 50 over 100 over 200. The weekly cloud, if you say, Jonas, what's the indicator that gives you the big picture? I would tell you it's the weekly cloud. And here we are once again at lower cloud. We got up earlier on the week. We came back down. We are at that resistance once again. Strong. if we close above 95.50, 96.50, that's a very bullish sign. That would allow me to target upper 10Ks into the coming weeks.
What do you think, Big Jonas? What's like more resistance here, the lower or the upper boundary of the cloud here? Is it like breaking into the cloud? Or?
It's the lower now because we broke the upper, which was the nut top rejection back in February. So now we're on the worser side of the back test.
Yeah.
So if we get back in here, I don't see why we wouldn't get back up here.
Like if we start trading in the cloud, isn't that like suggest we'll probably eventually bull break it? Like if we get up into it?
Yes, but we might have to do a little ride the bottom a little bit with support and then go up versus just the initial like next week blast through. But yes, this is on the edge of a bullish move, but this is still literally at like 95.30, a very bearish rejection until proven otherwise.
What's the bearish? Oh, on the cloud?
On the cloud.
Yeah.
Until proven otherwise here. And just last in the cloud. Going out here into the future, a bullish Kumo twist.
Is it 28 days? What is it, 28 on the cloud?
Well, 30 period.
Oh, okay.
That's my outlier. So 30 period. So we're talking about November here.
I see.
So 30 weeks out from the current price.
I see.
But what we're looking for is, can we Kumo twist bullishly here, or are we kind of even spread wider?
I see. Kumo twist. So we'll know. I mean, when does that start to change? If we in like the next week?
It depends. It's 30. So it's all about the current price action depends 30 out here.
Yeah.
So the higher we go, the better chance of a bullish Kumo twist out here.
Right.
The rejection holds, and this red will actually spread.
Can I ask you a question, Big Jonas? What if we just pull back here, maybe reject it, and then we kind of hang around 7K for a while, and then form like a head and shoulders or right shoulder?
Well, so as we rode up the cloud support on this side here, we could, in theory, ride down cloud resistance, on this side until we're able to pop through here, which wouldn't be the craziest thing too. And that would actually be more of a consolidation. Remember, the longer we're in this
higher.
area,
that's like 8K. I'm saying, look, you see how we have that October, what is that, November? Was that like a bear flag we bull broke out? Oh, the ascending triangle reversal in December of 19, right? You see on your weekly chart, we had the bull break. So imagine that's like a inverted head and shoulders, Big Jonas, and that's your left shoulder head. I'm saying imagine if we pulled back.
That's not a head shoulders.
That could be. Imagine this becomes like a left shoulder. And then that's
this is the left shoulder. So we're not even forming that shoulder yet.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we haven't formed the right. So I'm saying, what if we get rejected? How would you feel about that? Is what I was kind of trying to get at.
I've never felt good at rejection.
Well, lucky for you, you never had any rejections. Yeah, like that. So exactly. What do you think? Maybe that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Given this black swan head, this lower thrust, this lower spring rather, and that's the right shoulder. So it's
a narrative, and so would you want that right shoulder to retest the 6K area there?
Yeah, maybe like 7-8K would be ideal for bulls. That's a better bull case. You have a descending neck baseline right here. If you draw your neck baseline, you have what's called a descending neck baseline. That gives you a better chance for a bull entry.
Oh yeah, where would you say
right there?
Up here, so it's way up here.
Yeah, so that's your descending neck baseline. That's actually a better setup than an ascending for a reversal. Or actually, in this case, would be a continuation.
Yeah,
this would be a inverted head and shoulder continuation. So that would be pretty good if you can pull that off.
We go this way.
Yeah, I mean, if you're kind of looking at the macro.
Okay. All right, Cheds, I think it's time to wrap it up here. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us tonight. 63 of our closest friends, 23 thumbs up. Let's get a little bit more thumbs up there.
Yeah, come on, guys. You can do better.
Cheds, this has been great. Remember, follow me on Twitter at Big Jonas. Follow him on Twitter at Big Cheds, and on the left side of his ear, because he is hard of hearing on that side, if you want to stick up to him.
This is actually true.
I still believe that the S&P is still correlated with Bitcoin price action. I still believe the overall markets will dictate, what's going on. Again, from a percentage standpoint here, obviously the volatility of Bitcoin is clear. But listen, S&P dipped, S&P ripped, and Bitcoin is still holding up. And when futures, and really just next week's price action, the S&P does play out. Very curious to see how Bitcoin does respond. A bullish Bitcoin with a bearish S&P Dow, stock market could be a very interesting catalyst for how we might end up in the future. Remember, overall, people, we are still holding this incredible consolidation for past several years here. And whether it's a descending triangle, incredibly long here, or a triangle nonetheless, finding support here, and dating back all the way back here, maybe resistance, support, okay? There's our resistance sets there, okay? It's still hard to get very bullish until Bitcoin puts closing candles above 10.5. Above 10.5 with volume would put many higher targets potentially in play.
Can I point out that that's a great point? When you break like a descending trend line or like a ascending trend line, you need volume confirmation as opposed to a horizontal boundary. That's what classical charting teaches. You don't need as much confirmation on just like a flat line, like the bottom of a descending or ascending triangle. But when you have like a symmetrical triangle or a wedge, like you need volume on the confirmation.
Yeah.
So that's a good point.
And listen, the volume is here. You mentioned that this looks like capitulation volume. The biggest volume is found at the lows and at the highs.
And more at the top and the bottom too.
So here's our top in Bitcoin. Here's our bottom in Bitcoin. Here's our top in Bitcoin. Here's our bottom in Bitcoin. But we're very good volume over the past several weeks. The interest is there for sure. The tether printing is there also for sure. Just as the Fed pumps money, props up the market.
Yeah.
Be very curious to see how a decrease in tether printing also has effect on the price action. Until next time, this is Big Jonas.
It's Big Chads.
Coming to you live. Talk to you soon. Stay
Shaba.
safe. Peace.